I was thinking about today while doing my dishes was relationships, and more specifically about why a lot of times relationships are not successful. A lot of the time, the reason why relationships don't work is because people go into them thinking that the other person has to be perfect, for lack of better words. They have to be the ones to work on things and make changes in order for the relationship to work. Another truth is that for a relationship to work and be successful, both people need to have worked on themselves on their own outside of a relationship so that they know who they are as a person. You really need to know yourself. You need to know things that you can accept in your life and the things that you can't accept in your life. And you need to know that you aren't going to compromise those things. The moment you start compromising those things, you start compromising parts of yourself. And if you are constantly doing that, at some point you're going to end up not getting anything that you need from the relationship. Now, that doesn't mean that the things you not compromise are like superficial things, or like you need someone who is only going to spend all their time with you and things like that. No, what I mean is things like, okay, so say you do not like drinking and you have had issues in your past with alcoholics in your family, and you know that that's something you really can't handle. Like it's something that you really can't deal with, and that it would bring you constant stress, trauma, whatever, to your life if you were with somebody who wasn't alcoholic. So you need to know that, and you need to know that going into meeting somebody, and you need to be willing to ask those questions and find that out, because how are you going to spend your life with somebody who's an alcoholic? So that's just one example. While getting to know yourself is very important because you need to know the type of relationship you're going to be in, you also need to know yourself because you have to be your own person in a relationship. You can't go into a relationship expecting the other person to be everything for you. So much so that when they're not around, you don't know what to do. You don't know how to spend time alone with yourself because you have that person filling that void within you. That's going to put a lot of stress and strain on your relationship and a lot of pressure on the person that you're with, because they too know that they cannot be everything for you. So you have to be okay with being with yourself. Take time to just be alone. And yeah, easier said than done. You're not going to get it right away. But you need to be okay with that. You need to be okay with those like stages of figuring it out. So, learn to be alone with yourself. It's hard, but it's worth it, and you gotta do it. Okay? Also, now, this is really hard for people because for our whole lives, being in a relationship is like glorified. So we spend all of our time, with the exception of some people, there's always an exception, trying to be in a relationship because we need that attention. We need that attention from another person to feel good about ourselves. So you need to find validation and worthiness from within yourself. You need to give that to yourself before you can be with somebody and not take out all of your insecurities on them. Because if you don't know your worth, you will never trust anything that comes out of anyone's mouth. You will never trust that someone can be faithful to you. And you will never trust that if they're not faithful to you, that it wasn't your fault. And you will spend your whole life waiting for somebody to constantly fulfill something within inside of yourself that they cannot. They can never meet those expectations, and that's a lot of pressure to be putting on another person. A relationship can fail if you constantly are putting pressure on someone to tell you you're beautiful, to tell you you look nice, to tell you how much they love you and will never leave you. And there's two reasons why you wouldn't get that in return. You're with the wrong person, or because you're asking too much of somebody. And I'm not saying like if you don't do that for yourself, no one's ever going to do it for you. No, you'll come across the right people who will do everything they can to show you and tell you how much you mean to them, because that's how they really feel. But if you don't believe that you deserve that, if you don't believe that somebody can actually love you, like, you're never going to trust what they're saying. You're always going to question whether or not that's the truth, whether or not if they're just lying to you and telling you what you want to hear. Like, you'll never believe it. And because you never believe it, you'll also never truly get to know the person that you're with, or truly like understand the type of person they are, because your insecurities are getting in the way. For example, and I'm not saying all these things because I have it all figured out and I've done all these things. I haven't. I'm still learning. And I learned these things right now with Shane. So I'll give two examples. One will be from a relationship issue that I had with someone that I was dating. And then one will be from a relationship issue or whatever that I had with a family member. So the first one will be from a family member. I love my dad. I will never talk bad about him. This is just an example. When I was younger, probably like age 10 to, I don't know, probably never ended. Probably still have it today. But there would be times where I could not get in touch with my dad. I would call and call and call him, so scared that the worst thing happened to him because he wasn't answering the phone. So since being with Shane, I realized that situation that I had with my dad was affecting me in my relationship with Shane. So there's times when Shane is working and he cannot be on his phone. Or there's times when he would be hanging out with his friend and his phone would be charging because he had a crap phone and it would die all the time. I knew he was there, but he wouldn't answer, and I would freak out. And I would just get this like terrible feeling on the inside of me when he wouldn't answer the phone. And it was like gut-wrenching, that feeling. And if I didn't think about what I was doing and why, I would take it out on him. That situation with my dad, however many years ago, affects me now in my relationship with Shane. So I have to be conscious about that and like really, really work on it. And I do a really bad job, but I'm aware of it. So at least if I don't like necessarily handle it correctly in the moment, afterwards I can say to myself, all right, this is why you reacted that way, that you responded that way, why you felt that way, and you need to work on it in the future. And you need to like put this in your head the next time this happens to just relax. Okay, so that's my first example where the relationships that we have with the people in our lives outside of dating someone and the issues we've had with them can affect us today in the relationships that we're in. Okay, my second example is with somebody that I was dating. This person that I dated was not faithful, lied about everything you could possibly lie about, even if it was things that didn't even make sense to lie about, like what they had to eat that day. So you may be able to relate to this. You may have had the same issue. If you don't take the time to work through those experiences that you've had in the past, and examples of that are like understanding and knowing that the person didn't do what they did because of you. It's not your fault. It has nothing to do with you. It entirely has to do with them as a person. If you don't take the time to work through that and realize that not all people are like that and not all people are going to mistreat you, you're going to suffer in your next relationship. Your next relationship is going to suffer, and the person you're with is going to suffer because of it. So, the example of me and my relationship now with Shane. If I haven't worked through what happened in the past, I'm going to use what happened in my past and take it out on him now. And act like what happened in the past is what's happening now in the present, or what will happen in the future. I will not be able to know the true person that Shane is. I will never be able to see that he is an honest man who works really hard and who is committed to me in this relationship and is committed to being faithful. I will never know, see, or believe those things if I have not worked through the past relationship that I had where that person was none of those things. And that's not fair to Shane, most importantly, and that's not fair to me. So if I don't work through those things, I will constantly think and believe that the reason why Shane's not answering his phone is because he's hurting me, because he is with another person doing things that are not faithful to our relationship and are not faithful to me. And I will miss I can miss, and you can miss, an amazing person in front of you because you do not believe that somebody can treat you well. You do not believe that there are good people out there, that there are honest people out there, that there are faithful people out there. You will never believe that because, one, you don't think you deserve it, and two, you think that one or two or three, or however many experiences you had with other people sets the bar for every person that you meet. And it's just not like that. And you need to do yourself the favor and the person that you're with the favor and not put those standards, put those past experiences on them. Now, that doesn't mean you go into a relationship like naive, with your eyes closed to the possibility of those things happening. It just means that you're not jumping to that conclusion off the rip. That's your first thought rather than, I really know this person. Do I really know this person? What do I know about them? What have they shown me? What have we dealt with in the time that we've been together that can maybe prove that those things aren't true, or can prove that those things could be true? Because like I said, it can be true, but if you are so consumed by your emotions, you will not see or know any truth at all. You will be so blinded by all of those emotions and past experiences. So you gotta work through that ish. You have to. I'm only gonna talk about those few things because I'm done with my dishes. But to recap, in order to be, in some cases, in a successful relationship that allows you and the person you're with to grow as individuals, to grow as a couple, to make mistakes, to learn from past relationships and from your present relationship, you need to work on yourself. It's true. No matter what, whether you've been in good relationships or bad relationships, you need to work on yourself and the experiences that you've had in your life, whether they're in relationships with the person you're dating or relationships that you've had with other people. If you don't work through those things, recognize those things, and learn to kind of move past them, you will carry them in every relationship you have, and you will put them on other people, and you will suffer, and the other person will suffer. Second, work through the past experiences that you have that have affected you emotionally up until this point in your life, because there are always things, big things, little things like what I said, You have to work through them and you have to recognize them so that you don't take out your past on your present and on your future. And that means on yourself in the present and future, and on a person that you're with in the present and future, or relationships that you have in the present and future. Work through them. Work through them. Third, take the time to learn who you are inside and out. That means learn every emotion, thought, action you take, everything that you love to do, everything that you hate to do, all the things that you can live with and all the things you can live without. Do that, because you will be lost in a relationship with another person if you haven't. You will spend so much of your time trying to be who that person wants you to be, rather than being who you are and being with someone who loves all of those things about you. Love yourself. Give yourself what you need before expecting somebody else to give it to you. And also, you need to know those things because you are going to set the ground, the framework for how you expect someone to treat you in a relationship. Because you have to do that. You have to set boundaries. You need to be able to tell a person what you need from them that's appropriate, that they can give you. And you need to be able to be okay with the things that they cannot ever give you. No matter how long you're together, whether it's 3 years, 5 years, 25 years, 80 years, there are certain things that that person will never be able to give you, and you need to be able to give them to yourselves or find other relationships that fill that need. That is all. Thank you for coming to my dish talk. Oh, bye. Say bye. I hope this helps you. I hope I don't sound like a crazy ranting person. But seriously though, I hope this helps you. And you work on those things because you deserve it. Okay? If you don't believe that you deserve it and you need somebody to tell you, you come here and you listen to me tell you that you deserve it. All right? All right.